What's it going to take for us to defend children? And are there limits to how much we can take? You're listening to Your Radio Activist on the Mark Harrington Show. Mark Harrington Show is brought to you by Created Equal, and you can support our ministry by going to createdequal.org. Well, friends, this is a special edition of the Mark Harrington Show, and here's why. Today, when I was prepping for some of the programs that I've been producing here on the Mark Harrington Show, I was made aware of this video, or I guess this children's book that is about to be released that's entitled, What's an Abortion Anyway? And that caught my eye. First of all, a children's book dealing with abortion. That doesn't happen every day. In fact, I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this. But I ventured into finding out what it was all about. And I'll be honest with you, I've been doing this for 20 years or even longer than that. And it made my blood boil. I was shaking after watching this. And I think we can become numb to what's going on in the country, in the world, and what's happening to our children and, what's happening to unborn children. And some of this stuff, it just kind of washes over us and it doesn't affect us. But as I was watching this video, I honestly couldn't believe my eyes. And like I say, I've been doing this a long time, but I just had, I was so upset and angry that I felt like I needed to say something tonight on the program. So if you're tuning in live, this is a special edition of the Mark Harrington Show, and we want you to jump in here. I'm going to basically try to unpack what this children's book, so-called children's book, is about, and give you opportunity to comment on our Facebook pages. Created Equal, you can go there, which will be streaming live, and also on my public page at Mark Harrington Show. And I want to get your comments on this. So as people are coming online here and listening and watching, if you would, Mr. Producer, you got the website here. It's called What's an Abortion Anyway? This is a book that's going to be released apparently soon. Right now, there's a Kickstarter funding campaign that's begun to try to raise money for this. If you would, Mr. Producer, just scroll down. I'll read what how they kind of define the project or the book. Basically, it's this: What's an Abortion Anyway? Is a medically accurate. Now, of course, when they say that, they don't mean it, but a medically accurate, non-judgmental, and gender-inclusive resource for young adults about abortion care. Now, let's stop right there. Anytime an abortion advocate says it's medically accurate, it's not. They're not going to show images of prenatal development. They're not going to show images of abortion. So we know that's a lie. Non-judgmental, you know what that means? In other words, there'll be no mentions of pro-life, no mentions of abortion, no mentions of whether it's morally right or wrong to commit an abortion. In other words, if you're non-judgmental, that means you're pro-choice, apparently. And then gender inclusive. In other words, I guess that's talking about male and female birthing people. No longer are you necessarily a female to have a baby or to have an abortion. And this is a resource for young folks about abortion care. I love how they tag on care. Abortion care. That's an oxymoron. Abortion kills a baby. It's the shedding of innocent blood. There is no care there. It's not health care. But anyway, I digress. In this book, you'll learn about what an abortion is. I doubt that very much. In fact, I'm sure they'll show no medical diagrams or anything relating to the abortion. You'll learn about what an abortion is, some of the reasons people have abortions. Of course, we'll talk about that, and, that'll be one-sided. And a few of the ways people might feel about their abortions. I'm sure that'll be on in the book. Now, if we go down the page a little bit further, we learn about the authors and the illustrator. This is very interesting. Here's one of the authors, okay? and they or her's name is Carly Maines. Go up and show the picture. Isn't it nice? She's got the little puppy there that she's that's nice. Anyway, go down. Now let me read this. Carly Maines, her, is a white, queer, Jewish, full-spectrum doula from New York. Now, there's a lot to unpack there, but I thought the interesting comment there or description was the full-spectrum doula. Well, I guess I'm showing my age here, but I didn't know what a full-spectrum doula was. I knew what a doula was. I mean, a doula is, and that's a woman who's assists in the birth of a baby, generally speaking, and is not an OBGYN. But a full spectrum doula, I looked up, and it's this: a support person who brings the doula model of care to any pregnancy discourse and outcome, including miscarriage, planned abortion, and medical terminations, et cetera, et cetera. So she's a full spectrum doula. That is one of the authors. Now, the illustrator, if you go ahead and scroll down here, this is the illustrator of the book, and she goes by the pronouns they, them, and her name is, or they, them's name is Mar. And they, them is a brown, genderqueer cultural worker and full spectrum doula. There we are again, full spectrum doula, under the name Emulsify. I guess that's her real name, I guess. They create art that helps them heal, learn, advocate, and imagine new worlds. So under they, them's name, Emulsify. Now, I don't know if you know what the word emulsify means, but I guess that's they, them's title or name. And it means when you emulsify something, you mix it so thoroughly that it becomes an emulsion or a mixture of two liquids that can be completely blended together. Now, I'll just leave that up to your imagination as to what she means by that. But that is Emulsify is the illustrator for the book. Now, let's go to the video that's on the page, if you would. And what I like to do is I'm going to play clips of this, and hopefully we'll get some of your responses on our social media, if you wish, by going to Create Equals Facebook page and also Mark Harrington's public page, and you can comment on the video. And so this is the promotional video for the children's book that's going to be released sometime in the future. That's called What's an Abortion Anyway? So if you would, Mr. Producer, go ahead and begin the video. This is the video promotion for What is an Abortion Anyway? Go ahead and play it.
Hi, my name is Em. My pronouns are they, them. I'm an illustrator and a full spectrum doula.
My name is Carly. My pronouns are she, her, and I am also a full spectrum doula.
And together we created
What's an Abortion Anyway?
What's an Abortion Anyway is a medically accurate, gender-inclusive, non-judgmental book about abortion for children. What we deem as age-appropriate or appropriate topic for
go ahead and stop
kids
there.
is...
First of all, I don't know about you, but should there be children's books about abortion? I just want to get your take on this. Should we or be creating books about abortion for children in children's books? First of all, isn't that the parents' responsibility to inform their children when it's appropriate about the issue of abortion? Should we have people who are pro-choice, pro-abortion, creating these books that are supposedly supposed to educate our youth about abortion? Under the intent of this book, or the target audience, I guess, is the children under the age of 13. Now, I don't know about you, but I mean, folks aren't having abortions generally under 18. I'm not sure why they need to know about this. And if they do, isn't it the parents' responsibility to inform them? As you watch this video, what I walked away with was the notion that this really has nothing to do with children. This has to do with them. It has to do with them and what they think children should be learning. She mentioned, and again, I'll get the pronouns all wrong here throughout the video, I'm afraid, but what is referred to as age appropriate. I don't think anything on abortion should be discussed under 13, frankly. I've had the view that if a young person can have an abortion, they can learn about abortion. And that's generally, I think, a pretty good rule of thumb. And for a parent, I think that's appropriate as well. So go ahead and play more. This is, again, the video promo for What is an Abortion Anyway, a new child's book that's going to be released.
Topics that we feel comfortable talking about. If we believe in talking to kids about pregnancy, and we believe in talking to kids about loss, and we believe in talking to kids about miscarriage, then why wouldn't we talk to them about abortion?
This book is also
Why
really
is this
special
about
because
them?
it's
Go ahead
not
and
an
stop there. Why is this about them? What about the children? Are they really thinking about the children, or do they think about themselves? They keep referring to we. I think this has more to do with them than it does the children themselves. And what about parental rights? Who do these people think they are to educate, or I guess lie to young people about abortion? Who do they think they are to invade that sacred space, that relationship between a parent and child? It's the responsibility of the parents to teach them about this stuff at the time and appropriate age that they feel is when it should be done. Honestly, a generation ago, I would consider this, and I think the culture would as well, as child endangerment. People like this would probably be possibly put in jail for this kind of stuff. But today, it's acceptable. We now are creating children's books about it, and somehow this is now appropriate. Go ahead and continue on.
Advocacy tool for policy. We give information that is medically accurate, non-judgmental, and gender inclusive. It is
medically accurate. Let's go ahead, Mr. Producer. Let's show a medically accurate description of abortion. There's one right there. This is medically accurate. This is what abortion looks like. My guess is that an image like this is not going to make its way into this book. What is abortion anyway? A book about abortion should have medically accurate pictures of prenatal development and abortion. This is abortion. Mr. Producer, if you would, on that same page, there's a video of abortion. That's the type of thing. If anything's going to be shown or discussed, and they call it medically accurate, then I expect that we would be using medically accurate images, video, and pictures of abortion. But I assume that's not going to make it into this child's book. And honestly, I wouldn't want it in there anyway, but I would want children, if they're going to be taught about abortion, to understand exactly what it is. Now, as I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, we have now had 50 years of legal abortion in America, and there's really no end in sight. And I wonder what it's going to take for us to rise up and say no more. We're going to protect our children. What is it going to take for Christian parents to say, this is far enough? I'm not going to allow this to happen anymore, and take a strong and vocal stand against it. I don't know. I mean, I keep wondering, there has to be a point at which we have to say that we're not going to take it anymore. But unfortunately, it seems like we just continue on with the same old every single day. And it seems like we're unable to muster up enough courage to defend our children from the onslaught that's coming from the pro-abortion left. So let's go ahead and play. As you see, we're playing the video right now. There are some comments on our Facebook page. Let me read those to you. And folks, if you want to comment on this video, entitled "What's an Abortion Anyway?" This is a children's book that's going to be released by pro-abortion advocates targeting young children with what they call medically accurate, non-judgmental information. So let's see what we have here. It says here that the language is not geared for children. Very good point. Julia Haig says that is not language children would understand. That's for sure. Stacy Wilson says this is absolutely not appropriate for children. True. Julia Haig again says Planned Parenthood helps train those death doulas. It is really sad. You're right. I'm sure they are volunteers for Planned Parenthood. That might even work for them. Those are a couple of comments on our Facebook page. If you have a question or comment, go ahead and jump on there and create it equal. Our Facebook page or my public page at Mark Harrington. All right, let's go ahead and continue on with the video, the promo video for What is an Abortion Anyway?
Made so that anyone can see their abortion story or their abortion experiences reflected in this book.
I remember the moment you told me.
Well, first of all, they're not going to really get to see their abortion story because they're not going to show the aborted baby. The baby will not be even mentioned, I'm sure, in this book whatsoever. So that's a lie. It's going to be propaganda. It's going to be propaganda teaching young children that abortion is a good thing. It's a good idea. That's what this is going to do, and it will usurp parental rights. Go ahead and continue on with the video.
About the bug, I immediately got excited because I definitely feel a sense of affirmation and care when I read children's books, specifically children's books that are non-judgmental and are meant to teach you to love your body and love yourself and accept yourself and meet people where they're at.
Most of the images in this book are
so inclusive.
People who have had abortions, who all have had unique and different experiences, and we love that we got to highlight them in this way by featuring them in our book. I thought that this book wouldn't reach as wide of an audience if we didn't use a formal publisher. But Em really inspired me that if we did this via Kickstarter and really grounded in our community support of the book, that aligned with our values more than anything, that our community needs this resource and they're going to help us make it possible.
And this is where you all come in. So if you believe in this book and believe in what it represents, back this book.
You can check us out on Instagram at What's an Abortion Book and online at www.whatsanabortionbook.com. Make sure to share with all your friends. We need all of our community support to make this possible.
So there you have it. There's the promo for the book that will soon be released called What's an Abortion Anyway? A children's book, supposedly. And I'm taking some time to respond to it today because, frankly, I was enraged. You know, like I say, I've been doing this for a very long time, but there are very few things that get me upset, but this one did. The idea, first of all, babies are being killed by abortion day in, day out in America, and there's very little response from the Christian church, and it hasn't been for almost 50 years. And now not only are we killing babies, we're going to endanger young children by teaching them this stuff. This is propaganda. This is damaging. This is harmful to young children. The illustrator and the author of this book, if it ever comes to be published, honestly, should be in jail for endangering children. This is totally inappropriate, a violation of parental rights. I know I'm a believer in the First Amendment. I believe in free speech. I believe that people can write and virtually whatever they wish, and it's protected under the First Amendment. But not all speech is without ramifications and without hurting people. And so we have to be careful. I'm not saying that this book should be banned or anything like that, but we as Christian parents should be willing to defend our children and oppose it as strongly as we can. So Gabriella says this: they just care about making money and getting attention from this disgraceful book. more than likely. I'm sure they're ideologically in support of abortion. Clearly, that's, they talk about that as a doula, as they say. And I don't think it's just about money. It's about more than that, I assume. So I'm sure they will make money. In fact, they're trying to raise it right now through the Kickstarter funding campaign. So here's my question. What can we do about it? What can you and I do about this? A lot of people are just going to throw up their hands and say, "Oh, this is getting so used to this kind of thing. This, going after our children, supporting abortion. It just seems like there's so much of it happening so quickly that we kind of just throw up our hands and say, I can't do anything about it. Where is the outrage, people? When is it? When are we going to draw the line and just say, no more? We're not going to take it anymore. And we stand up against this stuff. And that the pulpits of America would be very loudly and strongly condemning this type of information that's being put out there. Where's the counter narrative that needs to be happening across America? That's what I want to know. And I want to know what you will do about it. I mean, I'm looking for ideas here on how to oppose this kind of thing, and specifically this book, if it actually comes to be printed. So, I don't believe in boycotts per se. They don't often work. Sometimes it brings more attention to the project, and therefore, it might only help in its sales. I don't know about that. But me as a parent, thinking about all those children out there, they're going to possibly be indoctrinated by this kind of trash. As a defender of children, I feel like something's got to be done, and I'm curious as to what you might think about that. Matthew 18, verse 6, and Mr. Producer, if you could cue that up. I don't know if I gave you that link. I'd like you to find that passage. This is Jesus speaking when he's talking about little children and what happens to someone who causes one of them to stumble. Matthew 18, verse 6. If you would, go ahead and find that. And it says, whoever causes one of these little ones to stumble, and he's talking about children, whoever causes one of these little ones to stumble who believes in me, it is better for him to have a heavy millstone be hung around his neck and that he be drowned in the depths of the sea. Now, I don't think this is hyperbole. I don't believe Jesus is using hyperbole here. If someone causes a little one, a young person, to stumble, Jesus says it's better off for them that a millstone be put around their neck and they be thrown into the sea. Is that how we treat people that do this today? I don't know. A lot of people say that sounds awful harsh, doesn't it? It seems like that'd be it wouldn't sound very Christian to us to do that, but this is what's going on here. These people are causing these little ones to stumble. Of course, the babies are dying, and more babies are going to die by books because of books like this. But it's also endangering future generations who are being fed this filth and are going to not only end up having abortions, but all kinds of other problems as well. There's some more comments here. Sarah Aller, I guess, is saying, perhaps we should email them medically accurate pictures of aborted preborn children. Great idea. I know where you could get some of those, by the way. Go to createdequal.org. They can include these in their book, and she puts the email address there, what'sanabortionbook@gmail.com. So I guess that's one thing we could do. Send them a link to the video, send them a link to pictures, and ask them to include them in the book. There's another comment. It says here, stop these books due to indecency and inappropriateness. Well, I guess you could try that. I don't believe that they're going to find in a court of law. I doubt that this is going to be considered indecent, but it might be worth a shot. Children should not be exposed. This is a comment. Children should not be exposed to adult topics and materials. I'm sure there are indecency laws that could be raised to fight this kind of stuff. Well, that's possible. I mean, we don't see that right now with a lot of other things. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean it shouldn't be tried, but maybe that's something we can attempt. I think what has to happen is we got to get the word out that this is the kind of stuff that's being shoved down our children's throats. And we as Christian parents, we as parents need to be concerned not only for our own kids, but for other children that aren't our children. For sure. You know, a lot of Christians take care of their own children, make sure that they're in a Christian school, make sure that they're educated properly, make sure that they're protected from a lot of this kind of stuff. But they forget about all the other children out there that are being influenced inappropriately, like in this case. So we've got to be consider more than just our own children, because the Bible says that we should love our neighbor as ourselves, and we shouldn't just think about our own children, which, you know, is our primary responsibility, but there are other children that we should be caring about. So anyway, I wanted to bring this video to your attention, and I was just asking for suggestions on what could be done, if anything, to oppose it. If nothing else, just spread the word that this kind of stuff is out there and people need to be aware. Parents need to be aware of it. And just know this, that the radical left, the pro-abortion left, will stop at nothing to influence future generations to kill their babies. That's what we can learn from this. They will stop at nothing. And we sit back and we're passive and we're apathetic to what's going on in culture. These people are on the march and they are out to take over. And if we don't stand in their way, who's gonna? So I exhort you, do all you can to defend your children and others as well. Those are the defenseless, unborn, and the children that are being fed this type of propaganda. We've got to say no more. It isn't going to happen on our watch. It's up to us to stand up. So that's my my exhortation to you today. So anyway, thanks for joining us on Facebook. I appreciate all the comments we had tonight. And if there are more, continue to comment on our Facebook page. You can go to Created Equals page or my public page at Mark Harrington and comment if you wish. And we will continue the discussion online after this live broadcast. So thanks for tuning in to a special edition of the Mark Harrington Show. And we'll see you next time. God bless you. God bless America. And remember, America, to bless God.
You've been listening to Mark Harrington, your radio activist. For more information on how to make a difference for the cause of life, liberty, and justice, go to createdequal.org. To follow Mark, go to markharringtonshow.com. Be sure to tune in next time for your marching orders in the culture war.